Battlefield 2042 will never be saved. And you probably clicked on this video because you go, oh my god, here goes Enders again, another 10-minute rant. But no, in this video I'm going to provide some interesting perspectives on some things that I've been seeing recently and I've been personally observing in my YouTube comments section and just from other creators around me in the same game section. And I feel as though I have to make this video because some of the things that I'm seeing are the exact things that got us into this mess in the first place, and I think now more than ever is the most important time to address these issues, confront these issues, and just make sure that people really stick to their guns and fully understand the scope of the problem when it comes to Battlefield 2042. And the issues I'm speaking about are, with Battlefield 2042, the game has been very slowly moving forward and getting into a better state. And while that's all well and good, I think you have to look at the big picture and realize that the game will simply never be saved because there are problems that cannot be fixed. And even more important than that, and I would even argue the most important thing, the Battlefield player base is not playing Battlefield. And that might seem like a strange statement because, 2042 has players, but if you look around, where are the actual Battlefield community members? They're not playing Battlefield 2042. They're playing other games. They're playing Call of Duty. They're playing Apex Legends. They're playing Hell Let Loose. They're simply playing other titles. And the proof is in the pudding when you look at just the Steam player numbers for Battlefield 2042. The game peaked at somewhere near like 100,000 players on Steam, and then it will just simply never return to that. And obviously, you can't really expect a game to return to its release peak very often, but the fact of the matter is, some games do at least get close. But with Battlefield 2042, the game alienated so many people, and it was the final straw for so many people as well. And I see it in my comments section all the time. I upload a video, and it might not even be a video like this, where it's an opinionated video where I go over some problems and maybe give some examples and go over some things. It might be a video about like a weapon that I'm telling you guys about, and the comment section is filled with things like, this game is trash, I'm never coming back, this is the final straw, I'm never playing this game. And that really speaks to me because it really does show me that people are done no matter what, and that DICE shot themselves in the foot basically until the next title. Now, I say until the next title because just as you saw with Battlefield 2042, obviously people are going to come back and try the new Battlefield game out. And that includes all of the Battlefield player base that isn't playing Battlefield currently. They're all playing other games. Of course, they will come and play the new Battlefield game as well. And I do have to reiterate the fact that I really do think they shot themselves in the foot until the next title right from the beginning with Battlefield 2042, simply because of the lack of content, and the content that we've received after launch with the new seasons doesn't hold people until the next new content. For instance, with me, for example, I play Battlefield 2042 Season 2, and while I'm an above average player that probably unlocks things much faster than most people, I am simply not going to be held over with one map and a few guns. And I think the same is true for the majority of people. Every single time you see a season update, you see obviously a temporary increase of players, and I'll allow you to see this firsthand for yourself. This is the Steam chart graph, and I'll just go over some key dates here. June 9th, 2022 is when Season 2 released, and that is at the far left of the graph, and you can see season releases, gradual uptick in players, and then gradual downturn in players that kind of levels out until Season 2 releases. Obviously, Season 2 releases, which is that second spike you see on the right of the graph, big spike in players, but this time, far faster downturn in players. So, as you can see, the seasons are not holding people over to play the game, and this is why the game will never be saved. The content is simply not enough, the problems are too large, and people just don't care about Battlefield 2042. Now, shifting gears to an entirely different topic here, this is a more community-focused topic, and I think it's more important than ever for each and every single person in the community to stand your ground, have some standards, tell DICE, no, this isn't acceptable, and just give your opinion in general. And I think it's very important to emphasize that you have to let DICE know, and you can't budge on this whatsoever, that 2042 is in fact completely unacceptable. And I think a large portion of the community has already forgotten or has become content with the amount of content, or the lack thereof, that 2042 has received. Some portion of the community is, believe it or not, actually okay with Battlefield 2042 right now. And I don't think that's healthy for the franchise at all, because what that represents for me is a complete and total lack of standards, and you basically show EA DICE the minimum they can get away with to make you happy. And if you think they aren't paying attention to that, you'd be very mistaken. And I'm going to mention a fellow Battlefield 2042 and a fellow Battlefield content creator who has been making Battlefield content far longer than I have, actually, and has a completely different way of making content than I do. And honestly, I'll be open to actually saying that maybe I don't even understand how he makes this sort of content. Maybe I don't understand it. But the person I'm talking about is Squid G. Now, Squid G, his philosophy around his content creation, as far as I can tell, is he focuses on the more positive aspects of the game. He just has fun with it. But he is an EA Creator Network member. And in my opinion, some of the video titles and just the way he propagates his content recently are fairly irresponsible. And I'll just read some so you get a sense of where I'm coming from. Battlefield 2042 is the best FPS game right now. Battlefield 2042 players are happy. Battlefield 2042 is surprising everyone. Battlefield 2042 is fun for thousands of players. Battlefield 2042 has been saved. Now, again, as a fellow YouTuber, I completely understand the presence of clickbait, right? It's part of the YouTube game. If you don't clickbait, you're not getting anywhere unless you're moist critical and can just upload a video of you like peeing on a wall and it can get 3 million views. But even with the knowledge that Squid G makes content focusing on the more positive aspects of the game, I can't help but notice that he hasn't really made a negative video about Battlefield 2042 in the darkest hours of the Battlefield franchise, where in my opinion, it's the most important time to make critical content, because you want your franchise to survive, right? Okay, it is time to openly critique them heavily. And for all I know, because he is an EA Creator Network member, he may well be heavily critiquing them behind the scenes, but I think it's important to do that in the public eye as well. And I don't mean to sort of call out Squid specifically here. I'm just using him as one example. There are other content creators that are doing the exact same thing. But my overarching point here is you must, as a community, hold EA DICE accountable on all fronts to prevent this from ever happening again. Because the Battlefield franchise has been an uncontrolled freefall ever since Battlefield 5. And I think a lot of people thought, it'll never get worse than Battlefield 5. Surely Battlefield 2042 will be better. How can it possibly be worse than Battlefield 5? And guess what they did? They outdid themselves in the opposite direction, which clearly states that they don't know what they're doing. So you need to tell them what is wrong, because they clearly didn't understand it with Battlefield 5, and they clearly didn't understand it while they were making Battlefield 2042, even though they were removing class systems, even though the game didn't have a scoreboard, or all chat, or a decent squad menu, or really anything that made Battlefield Battlefield. So you have to express your opinion regarding Battlefield 2042, or it will keep happening. And with that, I'm going to cap off the video here. I felt as though I needed to make this video because I do think I'm going to make less Battlefield content, specifically in the near future. I will obviously still make all the update videos. I'll still be streaming the game from time to time, but I do feel as though it's important for me to make this video just so people understand the real scope of where Battlefield is as a franchise right now. If you're content with Battlefield 2042 in really any way, what else are they going to take away from us as a community? So that's really it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched until the end, you're absolutely insane, and I really, really do appreciate it. You guys are the backbone of the entire channel. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It really does help the video out. Be sure to comment to let me know your thoughts, as I do read all comments. And I will see you guys in the next one.